a $250,000, $300,000 HV sort of works package, but it's not something you can delegate out to younger staff members to meet with the CEO of a hospital and give them confidence that you're not going to stuff up their power supply to the entire hospital. In the early days, when I had an air conditioning and electrical business, we had the vehicle and the van and trailers and everything set up just to do mains and switchboard upgrades and air conditioning. And every now and again, clients go, "Oh, can you do some general electrical? We want a fan in." Oh, I hate fans. In the old days, before all these new remote sort of fancy ones, some of the clients would buy these fans, and you pull it apart and there's a million bits. You got to assemble it, takes time. You're up in roof spaces and having put noggings in and all these sorts of things that go on with fans. If you're not set up to do that and you don't do it very well, you break the rules and do that, you lose money, because suddenly you might, I haven't got that bit of gear, you got to go off and buy various things. So on that sort of thing, it's very important to stick to the types of services you work. Where it might be an opportunity to upsell or do another service, unless you've really thought about it and costed it and said, how am I going to deliver this, and understand what it costs you and worked it out, you're better off not doing it. And it always happens, no matter what size business you're in. Sometimes you break your own rules, think, this might be a good opportunity. I had another very good client of ours, Adco. They do a lot with hospitals, and this was the Greenslopes private hospital, and it was about upgrading their private HV. They got a private HV network, and there was some LV upgrades and new generators and things like that. So we were asked, we really want you to do this job, and I'd resisted for ages getting into private HV because it takes a lot of time. It's a bit different than the network infrastructure. And this was a hospital. You can't just go in there and switch it off and turn it off and go, yeah, all done. You can imagine when you're turning power off to a surgical unit and ambulance has got to be redirected, there is months and months of meetings, planning, contingencies, double, triple checking everything for a weekend of work. So, it might be sort of a $250,000, $300,000 HV sort of works package, but it's the personal time. It's not something you can delegate out to younger staff members to meet with the CEO of a hospital and give them confidence that you're not going to stuff up their power supply to the entire hospital. Come the weekend, it went like clockwork. But the personal amount of time invested in that, getting that job going and seeing it through to fruition, it just wasn't worth the investment for the return on it. You're better off doing other types of works where it just keeps rolling in. It's probably a good lesson on hourly rate. What's your hourly rate worth? Is if you stop and work down to project manage or to deliver excellence for one customer because it needs your personal time and attention, and you've got an entire business you've got to run, your hourly rate is the hourly rate of the entire business, not that project. So if you've taken your focus away and you're working on that one project and you're not keeping the juggernaut of the business going, you're doing not only yourself but the rest of your business a disservice. So it's important to stay in your lane, I guess, in terms of projects, unless you've geared up, you really understand what it's all about, and it's worth your time and investment to do. I'm not saying that you haven't got the skill sets to do some of these, like with the private HV networks. We could do it, but it's just not only the amount of time involved, but the circumstances of it. Shutting down a hospital is not easy. So, making sure you're really consider the work types you do in your business is, I think, fundamental.
And that goes for fans?
Yeah, back to the fans. I still hate, I still hate doing ceiling fans. I actually paid someone else to put them into our apartment up at Maroochydore. Yeah, so there you go.